Science tells us that what has been called empty space is, in fact, not empty at all. It is a field of information, and within this field are tiny, tiny, tiny particles vibrating and communicating constantly among themselves. Some call this the field of infinite potential, because the tiny components at this level, the quanta in quantum mechanics, are particles that appear and disappear so quickly they have the ability to seemingly be there and not be there at the same time. This is occurring an infinite number of times, and these particles can potentially become anything, anywhere. Infinite potential. What's more fascinating is that when you attempt to focus on just one of these particles, you end up knowing less about it than when you are observing the whole, the field in its infinite potential state. We are used to focusing our attention to understand things, like when you look into a microscope to identify a virus, when we use a telescope to measure the distance to the moon. But at the quantum level, it's the opposite. Scientists find themselves having to take a step back in order to observe accurately the behavior of the particles in the field. This reminds me of how in reconnective healing, when we enter into that ultra state of awareness, of being the observer and the observed, we are also taking that step back and allowing this same field of infinite potential to come into view all at once. We don't try to observe any specific aspect of it, nor do we try to focus on any one thing in it. Research has shown that the particles in the field are communicating back and forth instantly, something that has given rise in science to the concept of a conscious universe. What is consciousness? We can define consciousness as self-awareness, among other things. This self-aware conscious universe is essentially the field of infinite potential, of which everyone and everything is a part. The field that connects us all. And reconnecting with it is what reconnective healing brings. We all start from different places and with different perspectives. You might consider yourself to be spiritually minded, or philosophically minded, or scientifically minded. But when we come together on a common path, infinite things are possible. Join us in our online Level 1 course, The Essentials of Reconnective Healing. Let us show you the way to an exciting journey toward healing and life progress. For yourself, your family and friends, your community, and ultimately, our world.